What's going on, guys? Dan from SSG bringing you another Edison format deck profile. This time I'm profiling my Gladiator Beast Turbo deck. I thought Gladiator Beasts were lacking a little bit in power level, so I decided to make a build that was efficient at summoning Gyzarus. I want to summon that card as early and as often as possible. So I thought it would give a little bump in power level to the Gladiator Beast deck, and it's working out fairly well. Let's get right into the list. We have full 3 copies of Prisma and full 3 copies of Test Tiger. We want as much access to these cards as possible. These are your main combo starters. Of course, they combo together to do the classic Gyzarus play. Popping 2 and then being able to tag out is one of the most powerful things you can probably do in Edison format. I mean, Gyzarus is a very, very strong card, and these 2 cards summon it early and often. Very powerful and classic combo, but we want full access to these, right? So we want the full 3 Prisma, full 3 Test Tiger, because we want to drop the combo as early as possible. And sort of coming off of that, we have 3 copies of Giant Rat. This card gives you more access to, of course, your Test Tigers, but as well as Gladiator Beast hoplomus. So these are the 2 targets for your Rat. And basically what you do is you can go get this, the Test Tiger, and then on your turn you can then follow up with Prisma. So this equals the combo as well as hard drawing the Test Tiger alongside the Prisma. But also, if you go Rat into hoplomus, you can then combo your hoplomus with any of your 3 copies of Gladiator's Proving Ground to go search out your bestiari and then make Gyzarus that way by setting it on the following turn. So Giant Rat just gives you a lot more opportunities to summon Gyzarus early in the game, and also just searching more copies of your powerful card in Test Tiger. So very sweet card here. Also, like, thins out your deck if you want to just go grab another Giant Rat if you're playing a more controlling game. Card is pretty sweet. And for the Gladiator Beast suite, of course, hoplomus, the 1 copy is very important. And then we have the 1 copy of bestiari as well as Darius, of course, just the main 2 combo pieces. You generally want them in the deck. I have been thinking about upping the Darius to 2, because sometimes it can be hard to pull a Gyzarus combo off with Darius in your deck. However, 1-1 has been working fairly fine for the most part, and you generally want to draw your combo cards and not so much your Gladiator Beasts. And then we only have 1 copy of Laquari. So yeah, same idea, similar idea here. We just don't really want to play a normal Gladiator Beast game plan, at least in game 1. We want to be a linear combo deck that can do a lot of different things, pop our opponent's cards, control the game, and once you resolve a Gyzarus and control the game from that point, it's fairly easy to actually run away with a win. So we only need the 1 copy of Laquari, mainly as a beat stick to get when we are tagging out a Gyzarus, and also just a fine card. It summons heraklinos as well, which is important. And then I have the 1 copy of murmillo and the 1 copy of equeste. Of course, you just want to have access. You have a small Gladiator package, very, very small. As I said, you want to draw your main combo pieces in Giant Rat, Prisma, and Test Tiger before drawing these cards here. And then we are a turbo deck, so we are playing 37 cards with 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. And then a very important card in the deck, 3 Proving Ground. Being able to combo with your Giant Rat to go get your hoplomus, then search out your bestiari. Easy access to Gyzarus. You don't have to hard draw Test Tiger to summon a Gyzarus early in the game. And 3 Proving Grounds is what makes this deck function. We then have 2 copies of Book of Moon. Solid card to book bigger things down, get your normal Gladiator Beast effects off. Really good defensive card, good offensive card. Does a lot for the Glad archetype, as many of you may know. I have 1 copy of Rhoda. 1 copy of Rhoda, no Stratos, right? Just 3 Prisma and the 4th copy of Prisma with the Rhoda. We just want instant access to that Prisma as soon as possible, and the 4th copy really helps us get there. I have 1 copy of Smashing Ground, just trying to get rid of big creatures, let your Gladiator effects go through. Sometimes it can be hard to deal with an established threat if you don't have access to a Gyzarus play. This kind of just gives you more time and denies them from running away from the game with one of their big powerful threats. Of course, we have Heavy Storm and Cold Wave. Just letting your Gyzarus combos go off is exactly what you want to be doing. Similar to any other Gladiator Beast deck, you just want to be able to resolve your combo. And because we have a lot of access to our combo, we want both Cold Wave and Heavy Storm. Onto trap cards, we still are a controlling deck, especially once we resolve Gyzarus. We need to actually close out the game, so we're going to play some trap cards here. We have the full 3 copies of Dimensional Prison, just excellent Gladiator Beast in our normal game plan, excellent at protecting our glads. Very good card. 2 copy of Bottomless. We have great removal here, just standard removal package of 3 Prison, 2 Bottomless, just pretty standard stuff. Only 2 War Chariots. I had a really hard time trying to fit 3 into this deck, especially with the low Gladiator Beast count. As I said, you're not normally playing a normal Gladiator Beast plan. You're most likely going to try and combo, and then, of course, you want to draw this after you resolved your gyzarus, because then that's how you close out the game, right? So I landed on 2 copies. I didn't want to brick with it too early in the game. Just wanted to resolve a gyzarus and have this one be one of the back rows that we have access to after our combo. We then have Torrential Tribute, Mirror Force, Solemn Judgment, just standard good cards. Solemn Judgment really good at protecting our combo, and for that reason we also play 1 copy of Dark Bribe, acting as a second Solemn Judgment when we're trying to go off with gyzarus, as well as just protecting against cards like Heavy Storm when we're playing a more controlling game plan. Of course, we have the 1 copy of Trap Dustshoot because it is very broken, and it is very broken. And then 1 copy of Call. Call is absurd in this deck, extremely broken. If your Prisma play gets interrupted, but you drop the bestiari into the graveyard anyway, suddenly Call makes your gyzarus a lot easier to summon. Summoning back gyzarus, you have so much access to gyzarus, you're going to summon it more often than a normal Gladiator Beast deck. So having Call just to have the potential for the gyzarus coming back after Call the Hunted and popping 2 cards is just obscene. It's a really, really powerful card in this deck. Quick extra deck, not too much detail. I didn't even do a full extra deck because it's fairly straightforward, but of course 3 gyzarus. I have seen 3 come up, all 3. I think interesting circumstances actually have to happen for you to resolve 3 of this card, but nonetheless you have 3. And then 3 Herc, you don't really need 3, but you play 3. You probably want 2 copies of chimeratech, and then we have a Stardust for our Starlight Road in the sideboard. And sideboard rundown, 2 copies of Cyber Dragon. Really good card in Gladiator Beast, just going second, dropping this, make them answer it, baiting out rai-ohs, things like that, just applying pressure. And this with another Gladiator Beast just lets you kind of like beat them down, and very good card. I also have 2 copies of Thunder King. Just if you want to sideboard into a more Gladiator Beast control game plan, if your opponent has a lot of ways to stop special summoning, you don't really want to play more into that. So we're going to go back to like the normal Gladiator Beast beatdown controlling plan against cards like Oppression and things like that. And Thunder King, just an excellent card in the format that I think should be played a little bit more than people are playing it. We also have 1 copy of DD Crow and 1 copy of Retiari for the graveyard interruption. 1 and 1, I think it's fine. You have a lot of access to the Retiari, and the 1 Crow is just as a surprise factor. Really strong card, but yeah. And then we also have 1 additional copy of Mr. Laquari here, as just when these 2 can come in against like cards like Royal Oppression and decks that we want to grind against. You just want more access to your best Gladiator Beast when you're hard drawing them rather than doing some sort of combo to get them out, and Laquari is very good at that. We then have 1 copy of MST, of course. I wanted to fit it in the main, but ended up in the sideboard alongside 2 copies of Twisters. Really strong card here. Just get rid of Oppression, get rid of Skill Drain at instant speed, like very quickly. You don't have to like do anything. It just sits in your hand until you actually need to use it, chain to their stuff. Really strong card. Twister is really good in this deck, and I like it in a lot of my combo decks where you need your things to resolve on specific turns. This card makes it so that it gives you protection against the cards that stop you from resolving important things on that turn. We have the 2 copy of Pulling a Rug. Just comes in the against Caius, essentially. I mean, Caius is an excellent card against Gladiator Beast. If you don't have War Chariot, the card can just bury you. So we play 2 copies of the Pulling the Rug, and we have the 3rd Chariot coming in against decks where it's very good against, as well as just being a good controlling card when we want to go into the more controlling game plan. Then I have 1 copy of Starlight Road. Just, again, when you have more back rows like Pulling the Rug and an extra Chariot going into your deck, you generally want to protect them with a card like Starlight Road. Sometimes you can take out the Dark Bribe. Sometimes you can just keep them both in there and have super protection against Heavy Storm and things like that. And the last card in the deck in the sideboard is 1 copy of Dust Tornado. Fine card, just again helps you get rid of those back rows and actually resolve your combo, which is exactly what we want to be doing. This deck is very, very interesting, and if we resolve our combo, extremely powerful. I think Gyzarus is just one of the really strong things you can do in Edison format, and being able to have access to it as soon as possible is exactly what you want to be doing. Other than that, guys, let me know what you guys thought about the deck in the comments section below. I think it's a pretty sweet take on the Gladiator Beast deck, a little bit interesting, give you something a little different to play around with when it comes to the Gladiator Beast cards. And without further ado, this is Dan V from SSG signing out.